Hello everybody and welcome to Nick's Stream. Today we're going to be checking out my game pickups leading to November 2021. Let's check it out. Hello everybody, welcome back. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down below. And let's get into these game pickups. This is a very NES heavy episode. It was also my birthday this month and I got a few super cool things, so stay tuned for those. We'll jump in now. Okay, like always, we're going to be going new to old. New systems to old systems. Like I said, there's a lot of NES games coming up. We got a lot of Switch games, some stuff sprinkled in between. So yeah, here's the first one. Okay, starting off, we have Alex Kidd in the Miracle World DX. I got this for my birthday. This is a game I've been looking forward to for a long time. There was a special edition released by Signature Edition Games, which was a little bit overpriced, I thought, so I never bought it. Waited for this to go on sale, pick this up. This is a cool side-scroller platformer game. Based on the original Alex Kidd in the Miracle World, which was on the Sega Master System. Alex Kidd, if you didn't know, was Sega's original mascot before Sonic came along. So this is definitely something I was looking forward to and excited to play. Next up, I got Big Rumble Boxing Cree Championships. I've been looking forward to this game. I hear it's not that great, but it came up on an Amazon warehouse deal, so I got it pretty cheap. That's the main reason why I picked it up. This is an arcade-style boxing game based on the Rocky franchise. You got all the Rocky characters are in this game, so I was looking forward to this based on that alone. Next up, I just picked this one up on a whim. I saw it was pretty cheap and I never heard of it before, but it looked pretty cool. And that is the Dungeon and Nahu Blick, the Amulet of Chaos Chicken Edition. I have no idea how to say the title in this game, but this game does look pretty fun. It's almost like a spoof, a parody of dungeon crawlers. It looks pretty cool. The dialogue is hilarious. I just popped it in for a little to see what a little bit of the game was like. It's definitely worth checking this one out. It's one I've never heard of, and I just picked it up, like I said, on a whim, and it impressed me from what I've seen so far.
Ask for help, search his place, interrogate.
The Dungeon of Nahu, the Amulet of Chaos.
Next up, I picked up the Streets of Rage 4 Anniversary Edition. I've been looking forward to this game for a long time. I got the Signature Edition version of the original release. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that yet. I may trade in just a copy of the game and just keep this one. I haven't decided. That being said, this one is the one to get if you don't have Streets of Rage 4. It's got 4 extra characters, 3 main characters and 1 hidden character. And it's got a new survival mode which really expands upon the game, because in the survival mode, the more you play it, you unlock alternate special moves for all the characters. So this version of the game adds a ton of content to the game, and it makes it almost like a totally different game. Definitely worth picking this one up, that's for sure. The next one I also got on Amazon warehouse deal, dirt cheap, and that's Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. So this game is released by EA, Plants vs. Zombies, but it's actually a third-person shooter. It's kind of like a battle shooter. I think it's mostly supposed to be played online, but there is an offline single player. The game looks fun. The graphics look really good, and like for what I paid for it, it's definitely worth checking this one out, that's for sure.
You know, just your average day. The battle for Neighborville is just getting started. With countless ways to join the fight, one thing is clear. This war is just about as weird as you. I mean that in the best possible way.
And the last Switch game I got for the month is the Metroid Dread Special Edition. Now, I look forward to this one, that's for sure. This was incredibly difficult to get out of the get-go, because as soon as it went up for pre-order everywhere, the online bots picked them all up to scalp them. I managed to get lucky, because through a Facebook group, somebody posted that GameStop was actually posting in-store sales a couple months after the online ones that went up, and I managed to call the store right away and then get a pre-order via the phone. So I was able to get one. This is the first side-scrolling Metroidvania game in a long time. This one is a direct sequel to Metroid Fusion from what I understand, and I can't wait to jump into this one. It's supposed to be super hard though, so we'll see how it goes. The next few games I actually picked up at a garage sale for $1 each. I've never heard of this particular one here. This one is called 7 Days to Die. It's released by Telltale Games, but like the new Telltale Games after they went bankrupt and somebody bought out the name. This game is interesting. It's a zombie game where you build and fortify your bases, but it's also a first-person game. It looks really cool. I've never heard of this before, but from what I've seen in trailers, it looks like a lot of fun and it looks like very unique gameplay, so I'm excited to try this one out eventually. Okay, the next one I picked up for $1 at the garage sale is The Sims 3 on the PS3. For $1, I couldn't go wrong. The Sims 3 is a pretty decently fun game. I played through it on the computer a bit. I never played the console version of a Sims game, but I don't know. This should be fun. These games are usually pretty good. And the last one I got for $1 at the garage sale was Payday 2 on the PlayStation 3. Payday is essentially a co-op heist game. I don't know if this has got an offline mode or not. I think this game is mostly intentionally designed to be played online, so I'm going to have to see if it actually works. It may not even work. The server might be down. Who knows? We'll see. Next up, I got the Dragon Age Origins Collector's Edition. I do already have this game on the Xbox 360, but I saw this Collector's Edition at the thrift store, and I decided to pick it up. Comes with a nice fabric mat with it, which looks nice, and a nice steel bookcase. Now, I did find out later that it is supposed to have like a slipcover that goes over it that's missing, which kind of stinks. But either way, still a nice pickup. Next up, I got a Wii game, and that is Resin Evil Umbrella Chronicles. I actually used to already have this game, and I traded it in at some point. But this game is essentially an arcade light gun shooter in the Resident Evil universe, so it's really fun. I love these light gun games, and I love the fact that the Wii had so many of them. And nobody really has put these on anything else besides the Wii since the Wii came out. So this is pretty cool. Definitely worth picking up this one. Next up, I picked this up off eBay dirt cheap for about $12, and that is Pokemon Sun. Funny thing is, Pokemon games I've been collecting for a long time, and this is actually my first mainline Pokemon game I have in my collection. I don't have any of the Game Boy ones. I have a couple of the N64 offshoots, but this is the first mainline Pokemon game I have in my collection, so I'm excited to check it out and see what everybody's raving on about all the time. Next up, I picked this 3DS game up at a pawn shop for pretty cheap, and that's Kingdom Hearts 3D, The Dream Drop Distance. So if you know anything about Kingdom Hearts, it's Square Enix. They essentially created their own character that goes through all the different Disney worlds. So your character will interact with Mickey Mouse and Hercules and Aladdin, all these different characters. I don't know how many of them are in this particular game, but I've been meaning to pick this up for a while, and I got this dirt cheap at a pawn shop, so I was excited to get it.
If it's all right with you, can I go help Sora and Riku out?
How?
Follow the hearts, and you'll find the way.
Next up, I got Jurassic Park on the Sega CD. Now, this is actually the first game I've ever used the pickup option on eBay, because it's from a pawn shop, a local pawn shop I frequent constantly, and I found it by fluke that they were selling on their eBay website, on their eBay thing, and it was funny because I had actually been in the shop the day before and I didn't see it because I guess they have a bunch of stuff listed on eBay that they have in the back room that they don't put out. So I picked this up really cheap. This is a cool game, this Jurassic Park game, because a lot of these Sega CD games, they just take the Genesis version and they port it. They just add nicer sound and music. But this one is actually a totally different game. This one's a point-and-click adventure game. So it's definitely super cool and worth checking out this one.
The animal with the best poison delivery system is the spitting cobra. Could some dinosaurs spit? Could be.
Okay, next up is X-Men 2 The Clone Wars on the Sega Genesis. This is a game I've been meaning to get in my collection for a long time. My brother had this when we were growing up. This is probably one of the best or the best X-Men game of all time. It's super weird, super cool. You start off the game, there isn't even a menu. The game picks you a random character, and you play through the first level of the random character. Then after that, you get to choose what character you want to play through the rest of the game. This game is a way higher quality game than the first X-Men game, so definitely worth checking this one out, that's for sure.
Magneto has arrived, only in X-Men 2 for Sega Genesis. Now 2 can play the most mutant heroes and Magneto. Sega! Marvel's X-Men 2 for Sega Genesis. Hardware and game cartridge each sold separately.
Okay, next up we're going to hit that big stack of NES games I picked up this month. And starting off with that, we have 3D World Runner. So what this game is, essentially, it's an endless runner on a 3D plane Space Harrier style with the grid pattern on the ground to simulate 3D. This is actually a lot of fun, this game. It's definitely worth checking out. It's got a little bit of whiteout on the case. I haven't figured out a good way of getting that off yet, but I'll look into it. Next up, I got Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle. This is a pretty simple game. It's kind of like a puzzle game. The graphics are simple, so this must be like an earlier NES game. Essentially, you're just going through doors and stuff to try get around Sylvester and pick things up in the level to advance to the next level. It's okay. It's not amazing, but it's pretty simple. Next up, I got Faxanadu. What Faxanadu is, it's like it's the Legend of Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link, but it's more full-fledged and more fun of a game, I think, than that. This one is definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen this before. Next up, I got the Capcom release, Mickey's Mousecapade. This is a pretty cool game. Plays Mickey and Minnie Mouse. It's almost like a Metroidvania game, this one, as you go through the different areas in the game, getting keys, unlocking doors, and stuff like that. So it's an interesting game. Next up is the NES version of the arcade classic Narc. This is a cool game. You essentially just run through levels shooting drug dealers. So it's a decently fun time. It's a good arcade hit, I think so.
Narc, the arcade smash for your Nintendo Entertainment System. Narc, with simultaneous two-player action. Narc, your match force taking on Mr. Big and busting his criminal empire. Narc from Acclaim. No one has the guts until now.
Next up is Wrath of the Black Manta. It's a side-scroller ninja game. This one's okay. It's definitely not as good as Ninja Gaiden, but it's okay. Next up, I got Hickory Warriors. This game is horrible. It's a top-down shoot 'em up, but yeah, it's not great. Doesn't handle good. It's very laggy. I don't understand how this game got 2 sequels because it's pretty bad. Next up is probably the most interesting of all the NES games I got this month. I've never heard of this one, but I saw it and I was intrigued. It's called Dr. Chaos. This game is a side-scroller puzzle game, but there's you walk through the levels and there's doors. When you go in the doors, the game actually turns into a first-person point-and-click adventure when you go into the doors. So it's a very interesting mix of gameplays in this, and it's very cool. We're checking out. Next up is a game I picked up at a thrift store called Legacy of the Wizard. This is pretty cool to see because you don't see cartridge-based games that much at thrift stores anymore, but this is pretty cool to find. This game, you select a different character in a family at the beginning of the game, and then you go through the levels as the character. Interesting game. I've never heard of this before, but anytime I see a cartridge-based game at a thrift store, I tend to pick it up just for the sake of doing it. Yeah, looks pretty cool, this one.
If you are a Nintendo wizard, if you are ready for the ultimate Nintendo challenge, then meet the challenge of the legacy of the wizard. The most challenging adventure of all time. Choose your character, choose your weapons, and enter a world of castles, dungeons, treasure, mazes, monsters, and magic. Your desperate mission is to find and defeat the most powerful dragon in history. Legacy of the Wizard, only for your Nintendo Entertainment System.
Next up is a super cool shoot 'em up. I really like this one. It's called Twin Cobra. Essentially, you're a helicopter and you fly through levels in the shoot 'em up. It's also 2-player. This one's a really good one to check out, though. I really enjoy this one. Next up is a not nearly as good game called Cybernoid, the Fighting Machine. This is kind of like a space shooter as well. You fly through the levels. I don't know, this one isn't that great, but you could check it out if you want. And this game is the last NES game for the month. This one I never heard about, but I was intrigued by the cover, and this game is Dino Wars. This game's kind of cool. It's a game where you play as like a dude in this side-scroller game, and then when you get to the end of the level, you jump into this big dinosaur mech, and then you have to do a dinosaur level where he plays the dinosaur. It's kind of an interesting game. This case I got here is actually a Blockbuster rental case where they actually cut the box and stuck it in the case, which is kind of neat, but I don't know. It's a shame they ruined the box at the same time. At least I got a box with it, so it's pretty cool. And the last thing I got, the big kahuna for this pickups video, is a game my wife got me for my birthday. And this is probably one of the best presents I've ever gotten for my birthday. I never thought I'd get one of these, but I did, and it's pretty cool. And that is the arcade 1-up Mortal Kombat 2 Midway Classics Arcade. This thing is super neat. I was super excited to see it. I had no idea I was getting it. It was a huge surprise. This has 12 games on it. Some of them not so great, some of them awesome. It's got all 3 Mortal Kombats on it. It's got a new game I never heard of called Tubin, which is a lot of fun, where you're on an inner tube going down a river. That one's a lot of fun. Another game called Root Beer Tapper, which I really enjoy. It's got Rampage on it. A lot of cool games on this thing. It's got Paperboy, which is whatever, but it's really good. Me and my daughter have been having a lot of fun playing it. It's got a light up marquee. Screen is really nice and clear. The sticks are very clicky. I really enjoy this machine. It was a lot of fun. It only took about a couple hours to put together, so it wasn't too bad. I'm really enjoying it. I'm trying to see if there's any way to add more games to it. So far I haven't really found anything that does that without replacing the board with the Raspberry Pi, but I'm super excited with this thing. It's a lot of fun. Well, everybody, those are my pickups leading November 2021. If you like what you saw, hit like. If you dislike what you saw, hit dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment down below. If you see any games here that you would like me to do a Let's Play of, leave a comment with that down below. And what are some cool games that you got this month? Let me know. All right, we'll see you later.